Hello, in this lesson, I will teach you how to improve your penmanship step by step. And what I did was I group these letters by the way they're formed. So one letter will lead to another successful letter. So it's like a launching pad. So if you're successful with making L's, you'll make successful T's, and then F's, I's, and I's becomes R's, N, M, H, B, J, P, and U. So these terms I will use, which is called a diver. A diver is a letter that goes straight down from the top or the middle. It will dive straight down. Swimmers are letters with the arms riding above or right on the dotted lines, creating the R, the N, and the M's. Now, the scuba divers are the letters that dive all the way down past the bottom lines. So when we start, it's very important with our penmanship is that we use the top, the middle line, and the bottom line. When I refer the top line, it's just the top. The middle are the dotted lines, and the bottom lines are the bottom lines. So that's all the terms I'm going to use. So let's start with a diver. So an L is a perfect diver. So I want you to get out your pencil and make sure that you have your top, middle, and bottom line papers. Okay, your paper needs to have a top, middle, and bottom because we're going to use these like roads and railroad tracks. They're going to guide us in helping us improve our penmanship and help our letters formed correctly. So that's very important. So the first thing you do is show me your pencil. Okay, with our pencil, we got to first hold them correctly like a nice little pinch. Okay, so let's start writing together. So first, make sure that you have a top line and we're going to practice the letter L. The letter L is a diver. Okay, so from the top line, we dive straight down. Okay, touching the bottom. So let's try again. Put your pencil on the top line, dive straight down 3 times. Touch, 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 no floaters, no sinkers, okay? So let's try it again. Top line, dive straight down, dive. It's the perfect diver. Straight down and dive. Now the next letter is a T, so it's basically the L from the top line, dive straight down, and then we find the middle line and we ride the middle line. There we go. Top line, straight down, ride the middle line. Okay, now we aim for the best. Okay, we aim to use our letters like railroad tracks. Okay, so write it so we don't fall off the track. Now, sometimes you encounter letter T's that don't ride the middle line. I prefer to keep it consistent and use the middle line to ride, and we try our best. Okay, now with an F, it does a little curve first. See, so you curve a little bit, but you try to ride the top line all the way down, dive to the bottom, cross at the middle. All right, so let's try it again a little bit here, right? Almost next to the top line, but not quite, and curve. Okay, touch the bottom line, dive, and then ride the middle line. Okay, so that's the letter F. Now we're going to do the letter I. The I, it's just middle line. We're going to dive from the middle line and make a dot. Okay, let's put our pencil on the middle line, dive straight down, touch the bottom, and a dot. There you go. So make sure, did you check yourself? Did you touch the middle and the bottom? All right, so now we're going to do the letter R. R, it dives from the middle line. Put the dot there, right on the middle line. Now dive down, touch the bottom. Now, it's important we're doing the swimmer arm. So I want to make sure I cover 3 dots. There's 1, 2, 3 dots. So I go back up and I do 1, 2, 3. There's my R. Okay, let's try it again. Dive straight down. And boys and girls, penmanship, you always start from the top and you dive down, whether you're diving from the top line or you dive from the middle line, but you dive down. You do not dive up. Dive down. Okay? When I see children putting their pencil at the bottom, it means you're going to go the wrong way, and most likely you'll end up with reverse letters. So always dive down. And here I'm going to make a swimmer arm, touch, touch, touch the middle line. Okay. Now I'm going to make it my N. So the N is just the same as the R. Put your pencil on the middle line, dive down. Now 3 lines, 1, 2, 3. Now dive all the way to the bottom. Okay, now that's your N. Watch me again. Dive, put your pencil on the middle line, dive straight down. Don't fall off. 3 lines, 1, 2, 3, and down. That's my N. Here's my M. Like an R, you start, dive from the middle, swimmer arm. You see that I'm going straight up. I'm just going back up, dive down. Okay, now dive down. Middle line, dive down again. Now, boys and girls, I've seen this kind of, and watch this first. Okay, now be extra careful because sometimes you end up with a valley, a V. Sometimes look, your M looks like a V. So I prefer that you go back and you dive down. Okay, so watch, straight line down, pencil in the middle line, dive, go back to the 3 dots, 1, 2, 3, down, go back to the 3 dots, 1, 2, 3, down. Okay, so that's the M, that's the N, and there's the R. So if you can make an R, you can make an N, and you can make an M. Then now we're going to go back and dive from the top to make an H. Dive straight from the top line, dive from the top line down. For an H, you go into the middle line, pick up your pencil again. 1, 2, 3, down, dive down, okay? Dive from the top line, down, touch, touch, touch. Then the 3 middle line, swimmer arm, and dive straight down. That's an H. Again, dive from the top line straight down, touch the bottom, middle line, 3 lines down, 1, 2, 3, down. Now, if you can make a successful H, you can make a successful B. So here we go. Honey, honey horse, and Bubba bear. Okay, dive from the bottom straight down. Now you make the H like a honey horse and then a B. There you go. Ah, okay. Okay, so remember, straight down, make that H first, and then you will close it. So whenever you want to make a letter B, you always think of honeybee first. So first I make honey. Then here's my H. Then I just close it to become a B, honeybee. And if you remember honeybee, your B's will never be backwards because the B and the D are very tricky letters. But if you call your B your honeybee, you will never make it backwards because you know it starts like a letter H and then you call it honey bee. Okay? And that will help you remember that the B is like an H. It starts like an H, and then you can make a B because nobody ever makes a backward H. But everyone always mix up the H and the B when they're writing or reading. So if you see a honey bee, then you will make sure that it will never be reversed. Okay? So now I'm going to make my J. The J starts like an I, doesn't it? Diving from the middle line, but then you get to scuba dive all the way down, and then you make a dot. So a J is like an I. You start at the middle line, you dive, but you continue to scuba dive past that. So we call it the scuba diver letter. Ready? Like an I, you go start from the middle line, you put your pen on the middle line, and you go straight down and you scuba dive. And then you put a dot. There's your J. A P is like an R. So you put your middle line and you dive straight down, but you scuba dive. It means you have permission to go past the middle line. Then when you make the P, you remember this the swimmer arm, 1, 2, 3, and it looks like an R, right? Then you go down and around. And that will help you not make your P backwards either. So let's try it again, like an I, okay? Dive from the middle line, dive all the way down, and you get to scuba dive, okay, past the bottom line. Then you make the swimmer arm like the R, and you go all the way around. Then you get to go into a little circle. There you go. There's your P. So just remember the P, and the P is like the R, like this, but you get to scuba dive. And a U is like, it starts like an I, it dives from the middle line, but then you get to go up for air. Okay? And then you just make a straight line down. Okay, straight, dive back, straight down. So ready? Let's try the U. You start like an I, dive from the middle line. You go all the way down, but then you get to touch the bottom first, and then you get to go back up for air, and then you go dive straight back down again. See? That's your U. Okay, ready? Like the I, you scuba dive from the middle line. You touch the bottom and you swim yourself back up like a curve. And then you go, and then once you touch when you get your air, you go straight back down, straight. Okay, and that's your U. So I hope that if you remember that the H will help you make a B, and the R will help you make a P. And as long as you remember to dive straight down from a top or a middle line, it will help your penmanship. And you want to touch the top, the middle, and the bottom. Okay, that's what you're aiming for. Use your railroad tracks to help your penmanship stay neat, and it won't help, and it will also help you so you won't reverse your letters. Happy learning!